everybody scream, oh, they're all happy and stuff. I get pregnant, I'm not married, I don't want to call anybody. Hey, I got to talk to you about something. Girl, it's only me and you here. Why are you whispering? Just in case. Your cell phone off? Yeah, what do you mean I don't want to pick this up? Yeah, I think I might be. Might be what? So I'm late. What you mean you late? Oh, man, bro, I may be pregnant. You tell him yet? I don't know what he gonna do. So you're terrified to even tell the guy because he might say, you know what, I ain't trying to do that. You need to go get taken care of. Here go to $300. Because why? I'm moving out of God's order. God says, I know man's heart. And when man fell in sin, I know how wicked the heart is. And I know how deceptive it is. So I'm trying to put things in place to keep you from being deceived. So I give you things not just to say them. I give you things to protect you because of how much I love you. Yes, question.
So when you brought the question up about sex, it brought to mind that a lot of people always ask the question about drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Why does the Bible say you can't drink? Or, you know what I'm saying, why is it wrong to have a drink when you're having dinner or when you're going out?
And so when it comes to that one, and from doing much study on it, actually when you get to Ephesians, when it speaks more in the Bible, not drinking, it talks about not being drunk with wine, wherein access, even tell with pastors and stuff, not to be given to wine, not to be given to those things. And so at that point you had even different ones where they actually said where they actually would engage with wine here and there and everything. So I went to God about it. I said, okay, Lord, so what is it about it? He said, when it comes to our culture, he says, immediately when it comes to our culture, remember Paul said, I'll become all things, all men. If it offends you, for me to be in front of you, me to eat meat, I won't eat meat in front of you. Matter of fact, I'll move away from things that would maybe hurt your faith, because I don't want to be a stumbling block. So at that point, I said, okay, Lord, when it comes to the drink thing, he said, yes, so you can drink wine. He said, but what happens with that person you're witnessing to right there once they see you pick up that first drink? You're like, yeah, you can't tell me anything. Because in our culture, it's looked at totally different. So at that point, he said, stay away from that. Afterwards, you go to the point of what is drunk. At that point, he said, oh, well, I'm a little tipsy. I'm not drunk now. I have my own definition of what it is. So at that point, God says, everything that comes along with it. Then you deal with why on things that says wine and spirits. Be not drunk, but be filled with the spirit. He's talking about my spirit, where it's access. Because why? When I drink, I fill myself with other spirits. That's why all of a sudden people become these totally different people once they get some drink inside of them. The softest person in the party all of a sudden is super tough. He walk around like he Vin Diesel and he a rock all in one and everything. I'll smash you by look, that's my big what I'll mess you up. Dude, like, man, you serious, man? Dude, you 2 feet tall. But I got that drink in me, now I'm tough. And it's like, you about to, man, get your boy, you about to get everybody in this party hurt. And they pull them off because it's just what it does with us. And then and back then as you go into it, they weren't drinking on 50 proof, man. This is 70 proof right here. And it's like, it's all these different things where we go into it. It's a different type of wine that's fermented, but he was telling back then and stuff. You need to do your best. He's like, at the point when it came, it was like when I learned, God said, and I guess it's funny because in college we're doing all those things and being around it. It was even when I gave my life to God, I said, I don't need to be around it. I don't need it, Lord. He said, I want you to be filled with my Holy Spirit, where your joy, your peace, your relaxation is all in me, not in the drink. And that's where I was like, okay. He said, because what happens if you drink some and you go to somebody, they say, oh, can you drink a little bit? I say, I just drink a little bit of it. They say, yeah, and I smoke a little weed to calm down. Well, you shouldn't smoke. Why? You drink for what? I drink to relax. Yeah, and I smoke a little bit to relax. Matter of fact, you have heard of more people dying from cirrhosis of the liver from drinking than dying from smoking weed. And they'll start justifying their stories. Weed is from the earth. They ferment the wine with all this other stuff and put stuff inside and licking. And they start naming all this stuff to actually cut people off the art. And they like, man, I mean, yeah, I guess you got a little point. Shoot, cocaine is from the coca plant. So I just, a little line here now, I'm just relaxing myself. What's your big deal? You drink. It becomes so easy for people to start justifying me. You like, nah, actually, I stay away from that, man. Because I understand it. But if somebody, it's not a thing where somebody drink around, well, I understand, like, at this point, say, oh, you're a sinner and this all stuff, because in the Bible, you do have it where they had passion where they drink. But God was saying, I need you to stay away from it because of what it represents in our culture. What it represents, because I did much study on it, because it was like, man, this and that. And I saw, okay. I said, I'll see where it does talk about wine and different things and not be giving it to and all stuff. Then God said, now I need you to look behind what comes out of it. And it was like, he said, that's the problem that comes in. Because once somebody sees it, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're about. Okay, you drink. Oh, yeah. I went to the bar the other day, I saw the pastor drinking a beer. At that point, man, he a joke. I saw the other day, we seen it on TV, somebody putting it, they're drinking wine on TV, and they're supposed to be representing God. People like, yeah, okay. And what do the other people say on the shows? All the little housewives shows and all the shows they have on? Oh man, you a hypocrite. You drinking every time I see you. Now you want to talk to us about how we need to live for God. Our culture. So at that point, God said, that's why. I've seen it many times. We watch the shows and they say, oh, you're supposed to represent God. Now you're talking all this stuff with God and how we should do this. But yeah, you're drinking with us. Man, get out of my face. My light is gone. Yeah. And so thank you, Dominic, for agreeing. So at that point, it's the thing to understand at that point that, you know what, Lord, so I need to do my best to stand away from it. Because it's all about representing your light. And so at that, because what happens is with us is that people say, well, you know, you okay, is this and that? It says, no, I'm trying to be a light to the world. And I don't want to mess up my light anyway. So instead, I stay away from it because I don't want to mess up my light. Because it's about God, it's not about me. And I understand with our culture, how it works and everything, and me drinking will kill my light in our culture. And all other mess coming, I'm good. Anything?
And it does, because I was having a conversation with somebody at work. They don't work anymore, but, and he was always like, you know, saying how he's living for God and he reads the Bible and different things like that. And I was like, cool, that's good. And then some time after that, it was a group of us having a conversation and they brought up drinking and in the Bible and everything. And he was like, well, there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine with, you know, dinner or whatever. And some of the stuff that you was just saying, not all of it, but a few of those things I was telling him, and, you know, he was just like, there's nothing wrong with it. I was like, okay. You know, because you don't want to argue with nobody, you know, about something like that. But, you know, you look at people in a whole different light when first they're, you know, proclaiming different things, and it's like,
and for that scripture,
really
when I go with people, if I remember on top of my head, but it's about the one not expedient.
Yeah, all things are lawful, but not all things
all things are lawful.
expedient.
Paul gave all things are lawful, but not all things expedient. All he was saying at that point is that it's lawful for you to do it. Yeah, you can't at least say, but it's not expedient. It's not going to help the gospel.
right.
It's not good for what's going to come out of the gospel and your life representing me. And that's one of the ones that Paul used. So I'm like, yeah, all things are lawful, but some things are not expedient. It's not good for the gospel's sake. It's not good for the glory of my name. So at that point, if I see it's not good for the glory of my name, remember it said abstain from the appearance of evil. So at that point, if people look at me and feel like, oh man, you missed that, God said, okay, stay away from it. That's what I need you to do, because I need to stay away from it, because my number one thing is that people need to see my glory out of your life. So that when it becomes more about, you know, Lord, I want people to see your glory, I just stay away from things that even take a chance and mess with glory. I mean, think about it. I told people, I had my earrings, had 2 loops, I had hoops in both earrings and stuff, and everything. Got married in my hoops and everything else. No sin against that at all. I had hoops in my, you know, some people just say, there's no holes in your body. I was talking about people was putting holes in their body, sacrifice to gods, and book of Lamentation, the Old Testament and stuff back there. I think it was that book, but I knew it wasn't about that. It was just me having hoops, because I like to do it for a fashion design thing. And I remember, no sin against it, nothing, but God just told me simple. God was like, and I remember somebody tried to come to me in the church, you need to take those out your ear. You live for God now. And I'm like, what? So I went back and said something to my father. My father got upset about it. Like, listen here, all I'm caring is about you living for God and your heart getting right with him. He said, there was something wrong. I'm the pastor. I just said something to you first. He said, God needs you to change it. He'll work on you to change it. I said, okay. And so it was probably like a year later. It's funny because my little brother said to me, he said, man, why you still wear your earrings? I never thought about it. I was like, I don't know. I just started thinking. And the Lord told me, he said, you're wearing them because you want people to look at you a certain way. He said, but what I have for you to do, I'd rather you just take them out. I said, okay. Took them out. It was lawful, but what he had for me to do was not expedient. It was okay. The Lord said, that's okay, but what I have for you to do is going to mess up what I'm trying to do with you. So I want you to take those out for me. I said, okay, well, maybe another guy, he made you surprise, say, hey, you can leave yours. But at that point, I noticed that for me, it wasn't expedient for what God had for me to do. So I understand in our culture, when it comes to, like I said, the drinking, it's not expedient because how people look at it in our culture. And they say, okay, yeah. And they starting to back up at that point. So, okay, yeah, you drink, but, and they have a hard time because we deal with such a judgmental culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even just to add to that, I remember, because I remember running into people that I know truly do live for God, even though they may drink and do certain things. And, you know, it's clear for me, even in the Word, that they're not going to go to hell from that, you know, from doing that. But so I also went to God like, okay, Lord, you know, when like a situation like that occurs or whatever, you know, what is your will concerning that? And the one thing he told me, he said, you know, your body is supposed to be a living sacrifice, and we're supposed to do everything we can to honor our bodies and the bodies that he gave us. So he said, you know, and he was just telling me personally, don't do anything that is going to hurt you physically. Like, don't, you know, ingest anything in your body that, you know,
smoking, all those things.
all
yeah.
those things that can do, you know, destroy the temple that he gave us. It's like, it's honoring him by doing what we can to keep our bodies healthy and everything. So that was just something that he gave me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. So you understand that yeah, just because I saw somebody drink some wine, they claim that they aren't saved, now this and that, because I understand what the scripture says. But it's what it does for the light, but at the same time, for us honoring with our bodies. So thank you for the question. Let me see before I go to the next question. It says, we talked about it. Oh, go ahead. Question.
Tattoos are a big thing.
Okay.
Like, I understand it's body's a temple. Don't mark it up, don't pierce it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a cultural thing now. So
Well, it falls into two things, because in the Old Testament, when they got tattoos on their body, they carved in their skin to their God. So they made marks and different lines in their body to give worship to their gods. So that's why I was saying no carve, no marks in your body, because that's what the pagans did. So he was coming to the Jews, who was supposed to be following the Abraham laws, the Mosaic laws, and said, let's say you don't follow those of pagan gods, because remember they was in Egypt. And Egyptians did all type of things like that. They're in Egypt for 400 years. So the Egyptians doing all type of things like that. So he's like, no, you don't do that anymore. Because they were doing it to symbols and worship to their gods. So you come to our culture nowadays, when I went to God about that, when I said, okay, Lord, about the tattoos thing and all that stuff, and he told me, he said, you still have to be careful with it. Because we still do that to the God of our own flesh. Why? I'm getting tattoos on my body because I want people to look at me a certain way. He said, so certain times you may be getting certain tattoos or certain things because you may be looked at a certain way. When I got my tattoo about basketball, it was a thing at that point. I was, hey, I wanted to represent this, so I'm a hooper, this and that. So I need to see what I'm about. I want it on my skin. So it was a thing all about my self-pride at that point. He said, really, when it gets down to the heart of it, almost like they tell women before they have any type of surgery, re-enhancement surgery. Are you doing this in any way to make you feel better about you? Because they supposed to tell you, if you say, yeah, then they say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And most women just say, oh, no. And so they go ahead and do, something that had 30,000 plastic surgeries. But that's a common question they're supposed to ask is, are you doing this in any way to make you feel better about yourself? So at the point, am I getting this tattoo on me to make me feel better about who I am? And look at it, say, yes, people see it that way. I got to walk out my arm greased up every 3 seconds, or shirt arm pulled up and everything, swinging around real slow. Somebody says, oh, you got to do a tattoo. Oh, you saw that little thing? Well, that's your whole arm, man. I mean, how can I not see it? This stuff, whole arm sleeve and stuff. And God said, you're doing it all about self-pride at that point. Not at that point. They're going to hell. God looking as the biggest sinner in the world. It mostly deal with your heart at that point. God said, you're doing it because it's all about you. I seen some, they got a tattoo, they got a scripture to God and all that stuff. And people ask me, I said, the other day, I said, that's going to end up being between them and God because they know what it was about. They know if they did it because they want everybody to look at them a certain way, or they say, I'm really giving this as an honor to God, this and that. And say, you know what, man, because what happens is that no people argue with the Christian bikers. No people come up funny about them. We got people who are bikers for a living. They're Christian bikers, and they ride bikes all over the country, and they got tattoos everywhere. And people understand, hey, that's part of their culture. They don't say one thing about their tattoos. Because they're like, well, that's part of their culture. They represent Christ. That's all I care about. Well, what about the brother over there then? So at the same time, even when it comes to them, it was saying, well, are you getting tattoos about because you're trying to prove something about this is my culture, I want to show how hard I'm a biker, or is it about Christ? Because when it starts to become more about Christ, a lot of stuff we are focused on and care about, it starts changing. Because God said that means nothing in the end. I'm getting this a certain way. God said, why? And that's what happens when we listen to him. He starts questioning everything. So how come you getting that? How come you doing that? And it'll get down to the heart of why I'm doing it and the reason why I'm doing it. And many times at that point you say, yeah, I'm good with that. Because I was getting it just because I wanted people to look at it this way. I was getting it because I just wanted to have this type of image. I want everybody to know about this. And God said, why? Why do everybody need to know? And so at certain times, you run into that, but if someone did it, ain't all they the biggest sinner, all man, they going. It's more a lot of times at that point, sometimes some may be dealing with, they may get it, they may be cool with God in his conscience, where he's like, I don't care nothing about that, they running hard for me. Don't even bother with it, keep moving. So it just kind of goes with you dealing with your own self and you talking to God about it. Alicia, you got a question? Okay, thought I saw a hand up. I saw you scratching your eyeball. Okay. So at this point, somebody asked, And I talked about it last week. It says tsunamis, earthquakes, all these things are caused by God. Tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, and all these things are caused by God, and God's supposed to love us. Why would he ever let this happen? Why would he let this happen if he loves us? And you have tsunamis, you have earthquakes, all these things, and all the things happening in the earth and everything, and how could God possibly, be a God of love and all these things, and he'll let a tsunami, earthquake come and a tornado tear up our whole town? Why is God letting this happen? And that was another question that some people asked, so I was going to answer that one for you. And so we go to Romans chapter 8. It's verse 8. I'm going from verse 8 to verse 18 to verse 23. And as Paul talked to the church of Romans, he says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiting for the manifestation, of the sons of God." It's in the creature. It's talking about now the creatures on the earth, everything are waiting for the manifestation of the Son of God to be revealed. "For I reckon, hold on, I jumped down, let me see. Verse 20, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. But because the creature itself also, or creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together all the way up until now." I always read that, and it's funny, if you read it wrong, I always thought like he was saying creation is travailing in pain. Creation, so it's not just talking about the earth, it's talking about the solar system, the galaxy, the stars. All the creation is travailing together in pain. He said up until now. He wasn't saying now and today and it's over. He's saying all the way up until this time. So it's like me talk today and say all creation is still in pain all the way up until this day. And so what he's saying is that creation and everything is travailing in pain, waiting for the manifestation for it's in. When you go to verse, let me see here. I think it's the next verse. It says in verse 23, "And not only they," talking about creation now, they, I love how he says they, because God makes everything with life, "but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit," that means we get the first things of the Holy Spirit of God, "even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to with the redemption of our bodies." So he says, not only is creation waiting, earth, galaxy, solar system, waiting for it to be redeemed, they said we are groaning within ourselves, waiting for us to get away from these vile bodies that break down, gain weight, get arthritis, get cancer, get this, get that. He said we are waiting for that day when we tired of going through the heartache, tired of going through the pain, for us to be redeemed from these vile bodies. He said creation is waiting also. And what it meant by, he said creation is travailing and groaning in pain. That's the earthquakes happening. All the stuff happened with tornadoes. How the earth is in pain. It's travailing. When somebody's in travailing pain, somebody wants that base, they travail in pain trying to push. He said the earth is in pain the same way. Because when man sinned, what happened? The earth and the galaxy, everything was instantly cursed. Why? Because he said the fruit and everything grew. He said now because you sinned, now you have to work. By the sweat of your brow, the ground will become hard. And now, because now the ground started dying. That's why we have to understand everything is life around us. Why? Everybody knows trees are alive. That's why I didn't go to fall season. Everything falls off. And they say they die. They really don't die. They go into what's named. The spring comes, and life comes back to the trees. For the grass grows. It breaks down. It grows again. It's showing God said everything. It all has life in it. I have made everything with life. And so at the same time, then the whole world is travailing in pain, waiting for them to be redeemed by Jesus Christ. That's why we said he coming for the 1,000-year reign on the earth. Now all of a sudden the earth goes back to where it was supposed to be. And it's no longer travailing in pain anymore, waiting for it to be redeemed like we are redeemed. And so when someone comes and says, why tsunamis happen? Why does happen? Why all this stuff happen? You say, because of man? What do you mean because of man? Because we sinned? God gave us rulership over creation. He said, I give you the fields, I'll make you rule over the birds of the sea, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea. I give you every creeping thing over all the earth. I have made you ruler. I give you rulership over. You don't own it, but I made you ruler. And what is man doing with the earth? We're polluting it. We're making it toxic. We're killing each other off. We building all these high-rise buildings. We don't care nothing about the earth. Like, oh man, global warming, the earth is getting warmer. Well, we're not taking care of it. All the polar ice caps are melting. Well, the earth is falling apart. Just like man, you know, we got all these inventions and everything. We're like, what is happening with man? We got more disease than ever before. We got more people starving around the world than ever before. We got more wars than ever before. Should we begin? No, the Bible said what's going to happen. So now, as they know that we are moaning within ourselves and also creation is moaning. So when the earth is having, as you say, earthquake, this is travailing in pain. There's constant earthquakes happening all day. That's what they don't let you know. Earthquakes are happening everywhere all day long. We just can't feel them. The earth is constantly vibrating, travailing in pain. And that's science right there. They say, oh, the earth is constantly vibrating. Where it's constantly having earthquakes over and over and over again. And then some it rip. When you see the big old volcanoes happen, all those things happening, it's the earth in pain. God said, I gave you the world to take care of it, and man messed up within the first whatever. And we gave it over to Satan, and the earth fell in sin. So he has to redeem the earth as he redeems us. Okay. Another question. Some people say, you know what, you kind of asked the question. I'm glad the question you sent me on the phone. I'm going to answer that one. Said he sent me a question this week over the phone, and not a question, but you kind of told me to watch a video. And it was dealing with the Hebrew Israelites. And we talked about some a little bit last week. And in the video, they were really discussing the different ways of showing how, you know, Solomon talked about how his skin was black and it was burnt, as you see in the Bible, it will say burnt bronze, or whatever, burnt tan and stuff. And then you went through and it showed how they were talking in the book of Acts, and they were talking about Paul and them, and the one what's name from, which called them Niger, and other people use the word nigger or whatever. They said that's a word they use it from then and stuff. Where it's showing, okay, so you're talking about some of the disciples, they were also showing, they were as we use the words, black. And so I went through to show other scriptures, them talking about them, their skin being dark tan and stuff. So it's a big thing with the Hebrew Israelites, their faith. These are black people who say they are the tribe of Israel's. They are the tribe of Israel's, and all of us are. And so they're proven throughout the Bible how it constantly talks about the people of Israel, their skin being dark. And scriptures are all there. We like, yeah, it's there, no argument with it. It's talking about my skin being dark here, his skin be dark there. It's talking about Jesus had skin was like burnt bronze and stuff, and bronze we know is brown, but burnt bronze. And so they were known as the dark complected and stuff. And so so the thing is, they get caught in that. Their thing is that we are the children of Israel, we are the ones, and how their faith goes, it says that, but we're supposed to follow the law. We have to follow the law. We have to keep the Mosaic law. So we already know the problem with that is that no one can keep it because it's perfect. We're not perfect. So everybody falls below the law. That's why they throw it out there and say, you just put a curse on yourself. Matter of fact, that's when it goes to Deuteronomy. It says you'll be cursed in the field, you'll be cursed coming in, you'll be cursed going out. When it jumps and stuff and it's talking about your field will be cursed, your children will be cursed, they'll be cursed. That's about talking about you breaking the law. So first of all, that's the first problem. The next one they go into is they feel that only black people and some Hispanics are the only ones who Jesus died for. Every other person goes to hell. White people, all Asians go to hell. Any race, if they're not black or Hispanic, they go to hell. So what they did is they did have done exclusive salvation. Just like the KKK does, the Ku Klux Klan. Jesus only died for the white man. And all black people are cursed. Every other race is cursed. All Jews, this and that. And so it's the exact same thing. It's just a flip on the other side. That we are all the Jews. That's all the KKK. We are the ones. We are the promised people. This and that. And everybody else are cursed and they go to hell. All it is a flip to the opposite side and say, y'all doing the same thing as them. But yet we have a problem. The problem we have is you saying, yeah, you know, it's showing that, you know, Jesus died for the black. I mean, he's only the black man, the black man this, the black man this, the black man that. The problem we have is that God never made races. God calls us man. He made one man. Then the other problem they have is they also say, well, all men came from Africa. The first man was African, everybody was African, so how can everybody be excluded? Because they mean everybody's black then. See, people don't even think all the way through stuff. It's saying, wait, hold on, that means everybody's black then. If everybody came from one man and he was black, so everybody's black. And then when you go into it, you say, actually, nobody's black. We're actually all brown, and we just have different pigmentation. My pigmentation is darker than the other person we call white. They have a light brown pigmentation. Science has proved that, 40, 50, 60 years ago? I know they proved it a while ago when they were trying to prove that they were trying to figure out black people came from, you know, something else, a different ape or whatever. And they saw like, oh, wow, we see that actually it's just a different pigmentation from us. So that's the first problem. We have God didn't make, what's his name, racist. He made a man. And by what you around, it actually your pigmentation goes into it from DNA and everything else. And also people in the sun, and it all flows into it where it's saying, wow, man just found a way to make something up that, because I want to classify you. And actually in America, they say they make the big classification because they were trying to say, quote unquote, so they know how many people, black people on the job, how many white people, how many Asian. But we know it's also called separation because the devil knows separation divides. So if everybody understood that we all are from one man and we all are, in a sense, the same family, then we wouldn't treat each other that way. But I got to separate and say, you're a white person. I'm a black person. God said, where do you see races anywhere in the Bible? I named off tribes by what gods you follow. But I never made different races. Man made that up. So for you to come and say, yeah, black man, white man, God made it for black man, well, I'm sorry, race is nowhere in the Bible, man. They tell me how the skin was burnt brown. And so what's the name? Because nobody's actually really black. You know that, right? That's why they say what's the name? Because you look towards black, but actually brown. Actually, if every man came from Adam, then that means everybody's actually a black man there, right? And actually, hold on, bro. You quite light-skinned. Use a ghetto word, skinned it. You quite light-skinned it. So that means you got some white in your family. So that means you got to be cursed through then. That means you can't go to heaven. And then when you think about stuff like that, on the black this, on the black that, but you real light-skinned though. That means you got some white somewhere in your family because in America, we're so mixed up, we don't know how many races we have in us. And that's why when you run into an African, you immediately know they're from Africa. And they immediately know you're not African. Why? Because our bone structure is different in our face, our skin texture, our hair texture. We mix all these things. I can tell you, I got Asian in my family. I got Indian in my family. One point, I thought Italian in my family. All these different things in my family. And it's funny because when you go to it, I love it how God did it, where all you know from what the Bible says is that where these people are at, they're Middle Eastern. And Middle Eastern seems like to be a mix between black and white people, where it's a mixture race, where it's saying, God said, because you knew man would be ignorant enough to try to put in a place and say it's only for this and that. If you only this color, it's only for you. So it just kind of kill that mindset, but that's what it's all about there. Is keeping the law, and it's only for the black man and the Hispanic man. And they said, well, you understand, no, God died for everyone. Scripture says, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. If that was the case, then why did Paul and everyone else go out to all the worlds? Remember, Paul knew they went to Asia, they went to India, they was going all over the world. So how can salvation only be for us if they went all over the world? That's why they have to try to exclude Paul. Oh, no, we don't listen to Paul because Paul said it was for every man. Even Christ said it. But it's a thing of understanding that if they bring that to you, first of all, everybody came from black men, so that means, first of all, it means for everyone then, if everyone came from black men, if that's what they're believing. Next thing is that you can't keep the law, so how are you going to be right with God? Because you can't keep it. So you can always use the law, because whenever someone uses the law, it's to their detriment. Because no one can keep the law because it's perfect. And if anybody know what I mean by the law, I mean the commandments of God. Yes?
I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we were talking, I mentioned the Nephilim.
Yeah.
And that just took me on a whole tangent, trying to really understand that. It made sense because of remnants of the past. You know how science say, animals been on the planet for millions of years, and, the planet's been, it was created millions and millions of years ago. But from those verses in the Bible, it proves that the earth is not that old, and that, these creatures did exist. The fact that they do exist, there's still bones that are being found, giants, and I was like, I always wanted to know where the dinosaurs came from, and different things like that, because I was pastors and none of them knew.
Yeah.
They come with their own theories, but no one ever touched on this. And you said in Job how even Job described, a dinosaur. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was what? Like it was man and dinosaurs, walking around together,
Mm-hmm.
But man has made it seem like they were around millions and millions of years ago. So my question is, I'm trying to remember what verse that was. It was saying that they would return to the earth. Like giants and people, that were
Now,
20-something feet tall and all that type of stuff.
Now, like I said, when you find a verse, exactly because I heard it before, but I never found the verse about them returning to the earth. But when he's talking about Nephilim, those are all they did in the Bible was call them giants. So Nephilim mean giants. And so for you guys, Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 through 4, and it's talking about the sons of God came and met with the daughters of men. And they basically they had sex. And it talked about how the Nephilim came out of them. And so the different theories has been on the Nephilim, and I actually could do a study on this whole service on it, so we go deeper into it. Go ahead.
Just a conjunction question with that.
Yeah.
My mind was completely flipped upside down when it's like, okay, the sons of God came to the sons of men. I'm like, but they're spirit beings. How can they have seed? You know, to go into the human flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I'm like. How is that possible?
Okay, cool. So when you're dealing with and what it talks about is that when it talks about the sons of God, how some people took it, if you ask some pastors, they'll say, oh, the sons of God they were part of the priesthood. And they came to the daughters of men, and the daughters of men they were having sex with were just regular women. Since they did that, giants came on earth. And the problem you always have with it, he says, so, okay, but people who have God right now still have sex and mess around and cheat with regular women, and giants don't come out of them. But they having people that's 15 feet tall and wear 400 pounds worth of armor and have 6 fingers, 6 toes. So how is this happening? And that was the one question I used to ask all the time that no one could ever explain. And then when you read later and you find out that actually when it's talking about sons of God, it's talking about a certain sect of angels. A certain sect of angels are called sons of God. That is why the Mormons say, oh, Jesus Christ is a brother of Satan. And what you got to understand is that no, these angels are called sons of God, but they're not the sons of God. That's why Jesus called the only begotten son. That's why he made it so clear. He came out of me because we're all one. So I want to make sure you understand he's not an angel. He is me walking on earth. So he wants to make it clear who he was. As Jesus said, I am. And I was there before Abraham. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word is God. And the Word was made flesh. So Jesus make it quite clear, I am God walking earth right now. And as some people say, I am God the Son walking earth. So it makes sure you understood that he is not a son of God like the other angels, but he is God. And afterwards, the story comes from the book of Job. When they come to God, it said the sons of God came to God, and Satan came also. Satan came also. And he asked, what are you doing on earth? I'm walking. What are you doing on earth? He said, I'm walking to and fro on the earth. And so afterwards, when it goes to the beginning of the Bible, Genesis 6 and 1 and 4, it said the sons of God, which represents those angels, it said came into the daughters of men. See, and that's what most people said. People said, yeah, angels can't have sex. I said, what scripture does it say that? Well, Jesus